My male 26, sister 23, runs a bakery business, and she's been struggling lately to keep up with orders because she's been short-staffed. She does a lot of orders for wedding cakes that require custard or marmalade fillings, and I offered to help her by making these fillings at home and bringing them to her so she has less work to do. Unfortunately, the past 4 times I've made these fillings, my girlfriend 24 has literally dipped her fingers into the filling jars and contaminated them because, in her words, she just wanted to try some. I've tried explaining that she just can't dip her fingers in and contaminate the entire batch because then I have to remake it. I said she should use a spoon and take some out if she wants to try it so badly, but she just pouts and says she likes using her fingers because it takes her back to her childhood. Today, I was trying to finish some chocolate custard to send to my sister quickly because she was running late on a wedding cake order for an important client. I told my girlfriend beforehand not to eat the custard, and if she wanted to, please use a spoon. I get out of the shower, and what do I see? She has her fingers in it again. I totally lost it because this was the 5th time she blatantly disregarded what I said, and I yelled at her and told her to stop eating this food I was making because it was not for her and she was contaminating it. She started crying and got mad at me for fat-shaming her, even though I made no comment on her weight, and she has no history of weight issues or eating disorders. I know I was harsh, but she kept pushing my limits. Am I the idiot? Does she also wear a diaper and draw on the walls with crayons because it reminds her of her childhood? Not the idiot. I'm sorry. She's exhausting and sounds like she's trying to sabotage you by helping your sister. LOL, right? What grown adult just can't grab a spoon and has to dip their fingers into food? Calling her out for contaminating food intended for commercial sale to other people because she wants to relive her childhood is appropriate. Hiding behind the fat-shaming nonsense seems like a way to escape accountability for her total lack of self-control. Oh God, I feel so guilty for laughing at this. Anyway, I second this as well. She sounds like she's purposefully trying to get in the way of you helping your sister at this point. So I would say she's probably jealous of your relationship with her. This is her way of making you stop the attention and help you give your sister. I would talk to her about this. But after pretending to blame you for fat-shaming her out of context, I would say she's too immature for an adult conversation and probably isn't worth pursuing. If she's going to try to ruin your relationship with your sister long-term, I know everyone's like, break up over every little thing in here, but I would break up over this. This is so deliberate. She's not even pretending she forgot, just insisting that because she wants to, it's fine. OP, at this point, she's doing it on purpose, in front of you or right when you're ready to catch her. Yeah, she's purposefully ruining these things for some reason. Break up with her. This person is sabotaging and wasting your time. My girlfriend Sarah and I have been discussing taking a road trip for a while due to the stress we had both been under. It was my tween daughter Emily's weekend with me, so it meant she'd be coming along with us. We decided to make the trip on Emily's weekend with me, and Sarah's Yorkie puppy Daisy had to come along. I informed Emily that she had to stay in the car and watch Daisy while Sarah and I made a few stops. Emily seemed to understand and was content playing on her iPad and eating snacks. After a few stops, however, Emily started acting strangely. I asked her what was the matter, and she said she was getting bored. I told her, sorry, hun, but she knew what she was in for from the get-go. We could all do something together later. Emily reluctantly agreed. At one point, I stopped at a gas station to buy a drink, and Sarah went to use the restroom. When I returned, not even 15 minutes later, the back door was wide open, and Emily was crying next to the car. Daisy was gone. Emily confessed that she was bored and wanted to get out of the car, and Daisy jumped out. Unfortunately, traffic was too heavy for her to run after him. We drove around looking for Daisy with no luck, and Sarah was inconsolable. I was so angry and disappointed with Emily that I couldn't even look at her. I tried to explain to her why what she had done was wrong, but she just kept crying. The road trip was cut short, and I dropped Emily back off at her mom's house. Emily was really upset, but I was still mad and couldn't speak to her. I was too mad to even hug her or say goodbye. Her mom called me cruel and conniving, but I told her it was awful what Emily had done to Sarah's dog. I felt so helpless. I wanted this weekend to be good for all of us. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Why are you leaving your tween daughter in the car alone? Why do you guys get to stretch your legs and see things and she doesn't? Why couldn't you all get out with the puppy on a leash? And last but not least, why was your tween left in charge of an untrained puppy when there were two fully capable adults, one of whom is the owner of the dog? Did you plan this trip for the weekend your daughter was there just so you could have a built-in puppy sitter? You were thinking only of yourself and gave no consideration to your daughter. As a dog owner, I do feel sorry for your girlfriend. I would be inconsolable if my dog ran away. But you guys are the adults, and responsibility ultimately falls on you, not the literal child. So much this. It's still Sarah's dog, not Emily's. If the humans are getting out for a bio break, the puppy almost certainly needs one too. And you OP were getting a drink. You should have waited with your child until the other adult returned from the restroom, or had Sarah buy the drink for you. And then you had the unmitigated cruelty to punish your child for your selfishness and stupidity after putting her safety at risk. Dad of the year, man. Not to mention, she said she was getting bored. I told her, sorry, hun, but you knew what she was in for from the get-go. And I'll repeat it. You knew what you were getting yourself into. Man, like, what is actually wrong with you? Get a vasectomy. Stop being a selfish parent and put your kid first. Why wasn't the dog in a carrier? It is a Yorkie. I highly doubt there'd have been no space left in the car. It's safer for any sort of dog to travel in a carrier made for that purpose. One uses a child seat to keep their kid safe, so why not extend the same courtesy to the dog? I don't feel sorry for your girlfriend. She's a crappy pet owner. Point of order, where the heck is the dog? So you just wandered around looking for a bit and then went home? Just left a small dog in a strange area and called it a day? This turns into, we abandoned a dog and blamed our daughter. If you left the dog in the area without exhausting every resource to find him, go back to where you were, ask around, put up posters, check the shelters, and leave your daughter alone. I, 29 female, am a single mother to a toddler girl. I have some trauma. I'm in therapy to help with this, but it's a long process, and I still have struggles that I need to work through. I work full-time and have my daughter in a daycare program. She's become friends with a little boy in her class and has been asking me for weeks to set up a play date with him. One day when I picked my daughter up, she brought her friend to meet me. As I talked with the kids, the boy's mom showed up to pick up her son. She introduced herself and said that her son had been asking to get together with my daughter and asked for my phone number so we could set something up. I told her my daughter had been asking the same thing and gave her my number. A couple of weeks later, she texted to set up a play date in an activity center. Both she and her husband showed up with their son, and they seemed like nice enough people. The dad tried talking with me, but I think he could tell I was uncomfortable, so he ended up just walking around with the kids, and I talked more with the mom. After that, my daughter kept asking me to invite her friend to play at our house, so I texted the mom to set up a day for her and her son to come over. But on the day of the play date, I got a text from an unknown number. It was the dad. He said that his wife had a cold, but that he could still bring his son over to play. The idea of a man I didn't know coming into my house almost gave me a panic attack, and I told him that we had to cancel and that I would prefer if any further communication came from his wife, not him. I didn't offer any explanation. He just replied, okay, sorry to hear that. A few days later, I texted the mom to try and reschedule the play date, but she was not receptive. Instead, she told me that she and her husband were very offended by how I responded to her husband. I tried to explain to her that I just didn't feel comfortable with a strange man coming into my home and that it would be fine if she brought her son over. Still, she told me that if I'm going to view her husband as some kind of creep, it's probably for the best if we don't socialize. I told her that our kids are good friends and we shouldn't deprive them of that. But she replied, they can play at school. They'll make new friends. I was venting about it to a friend because obviously my daughter's upset, and I'm pretty mad about it too. I told my friend that I felt like this couple was punishing the kids because the dad couldn't get his ego in check. But my friend told me she can't blame either of them because no wife wants to feel like their husband is viewed as a threat, even if it's only implied. Now I feel like my daughter's being punished for something out of her control, and that both the mom and the dad overreacted to a very reasonable boundary. You are the idiot. You do realize your daughter's being affected by you, right? Not this couple. Your trauma is starting to affect your kid, and that should be a huge wake-up call to you. But instead, you're acting like these people are the reason your daughter's being punished. No, that's on you. You're allowed to have your boundaries, but they can too now. You made them uncomfortable. Reasonable boundary? Does she not realize men make up half of the population? And not only this, but children take in how we react to everything, and it becomes their known way of life. The daughter will not understand why her mom is fearful. Still, it will affect that part of her daughter's relationships with any male, a work colleague, friend, boyfriend, etc. Even if OP said, "Oh, I'm not comfortable being alone in my house due to past incidents. How about we go somewhere public like the park?" I feel this would have been a better way to interact. My heart breaks for the dad in this scenario. It is super hard in so many kid-friendly settings for dads to be included and accepted. I've seen my partner be ignored so many times. Having such a harsh response would bump up my anxiety levels so much. Do I give off bad vibes? Would my kid have more friends if I were a less involved dad? Besides that, you're essentially demanding his wife perform all the parenting duties for your comfort. OP, what you're doing to your kid and other parents is unfair. Are you saying your kid couldn't have friends if their parents were a male couple or a single dad? What happens if they have a male teacher? Really reflect on what you want for her future. I just got state certification to cut hair, and I'm working at a national franchise chain to get experience to hopefully work somewhere more exclusive. When I was in school, I would give my family free haircuts for practice, but my sister never took me up on the offer, which made last night even stranger. I should add that I have 8 siblings. She and I are the youngest, and we never got along growing up. She texted me and said that her kid had some award ceremony for science today and wanted to know if I could cut their hair. I said we were absolutely slammed. The wait was over an hour, so to just sign in on the app and come in when it told her to. She came in and she was so rude and just hovered over me the whole time, like she was waiting for me to screw up. I was told that there would be customers like this, so as much as she was annoying me, I just dealt with it. Finally, after I was done with both kids, she tried to give me $3. Yes, 3 $1 bills. I asked her what that was for, and she said it was my tip since the haircuts were free. I told her the haircuts couldn't be free. I was doing this on store property in the middle of the rush, and I had to charge her. Without saying a word, she grabbed her kids and walked out. A nice lady who was apparently watching the whole thing said I needed to call the police. I said she was my sister, but she cut me off and said even more so, I needed to call the police. So I did, and they must have been close by because they were there in minutes. They said there wasn't a whole lot that they could do, but they said they'd take a report and talk to my sister. They must have gone straight to her house because our family text absolutely blew up with her, trying to get people on her side. Almost everyone took her side initially, but as I explained myself, people turned on her. But I think in the end, about 2/3 think that I'm an idiot for getting the police involved, and I should have handled it in the family. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She was stealing from your employer, not just you. The old lady was right. You needed to call the cops to protect your new job, not because they might arrest your sister. If she didn't pay and someone in your workplace had a problem with it, corporate or ownership would be all over you. By calling the police, you shut down anyone thinking that you decided to give the kids free haircuts. Yep, a client steals from a store where you work. Period. Is it your sister? Is it a stranger? Don't care. It's stealing. Your sister is an entitled idiot. Just deflect blame and tell them when a customer walks out without paying. This is the procedure. If any family member doesn't understand why you had to call, you've just identified future problem clients. It's nice that you got that out of the way early, huh? OMG, sister sounds awful. $3 tip for 2 haircuts that she wasn't going to pay for? Even if you'd gone to her house after hours and cut the kid's hair, I'd still expect her to give you more than $3. Hun, you should not feel bad about saving your job. Unfortunately, your sister put your job in danger because I'm assuming, like any other hairstylist, you're renting this chair and have to pay a monthly fee for it. I, 54 male, have a son, 18. His mother died during childbirth due to complications. I had a job that took up a lot of my time between investments and stocks, which didn't leave me with that much time to take care of my son. Because of that, I hired a nanny, Maria, who took care of him 24/7. Maria's an immigrant who came to work here in my country, but she has 2 children the same age as mine. I've always been a busy person, but I've tried my best to be present in my son's life so he doesn't miss a father. When my son turned 16, I stopped working and started living with the profit my account earned. A year later, I married my current wife, Livia. Livia has a 19-year-old daughter who's taking a gap year before attending university. This month, my son left home to go to college. As he's now a grown man, I decided to fire Maria, but I threw a surprise farewell party and announced to her that I would give her a certain amount of money. In total, it would be enough for her to pay for her children's college expenses. They were accepted to public colleges in her country and not to have to work anymore. The problem started when my wife complained that I was paying college for a stranger's child, but not her daughter's. My wife works. She has savings equal to mine and could very well pay for her daughter's college, but she expects me to pay as a gift because, according to her, she'll only see me as a good parent if I show her I care. I said I wouldn't do that and that she could pay for her college expenses, and I corrected her when she called Maria a stranger because she stopped taking care of her children to take care of mine, so that would be the least I could do. My stepdaughter, wife, and in-laws are calling me an idiot, but my close friends and family say I'm not an idiot, but I want to know what the internet thinks. So, am I an idiot? Not the idiot. It sounds like you're getting a good look at the woman you married. Did you like it? Nobody seems to explain why Livia isn't paying for her daughter's education. Also, where's the father in all of this? If he's still in the picture somehow, then why doesn't Livia go after him for college money? Her kid is 19, and you had no part in raising them. You're getting hit with the old single mom scam. What I'm seeing is a total lack of empathy by Livia and everyone else on her side of the family. Maria may be hired help, but it sounds like she was as much of a mother to your son as anyone could be. At that point, the line between employee and family member is blurred. And while she may be an employee, I'm sure you and your son think of her as a family member. I agree. Maria raised your son for you. She earned this sweet bonus. Putting the Maria issue aside, this screams gold digging. Everyone that says you're the idiot needs to mind their business, not your finances. I hope you have a prenup. If not, get a post-up. Make sure your will and trust, etc. is rock solid, because this woman will leave your kid with nothing.